weeks ago, yourself, along with some other Outer Cape Health agents and Outer Cape Health, were discussing additional testing or test sites. And what I found interesting was the test itself is the easiest part of that whole organization of it. If you could maybe just take a second, because I found it fascinating from start to finish, the responsibility of a testing site.
Sure. So it is kind of complicated. And unfortunately, at this moment, you need to meet certain criteria to get a test covered by insurance and to get a test pretty much at any medical facility aside from the Carewell facility in Dennis. So you have to be a close contact of a positive case. And when you have your telehealth appointment or you're getting screened to get an appointment to get a test, because again, none of these sites at medical facilities are just walk-in clinics. So you actually have to speak with a doctor and get a test ordered, and they ask you very specific questions. So if you're walking in off the street and you just, say, want to travel somewhere and need a test, chances are you're not going to be able to get that test, at one of our local doctor's offices. So it is interesting. And the problem is that there aren't enough. Well, number one, we don't have enough positive cases or proof of case transmission out here to get one of these sort of stop the spread testing sites, which was what we initially thought would be great, because we have those popping up across the state in places where case transmission is high. So we pushed for that for a little bit and got, pushback that's just not reasonable. And so what we have is an interesting population dynamic here, because we know we have folks in the upper age ranges, which those folks are susceptible to COVID more so than the younger generation. But we also know that our younger generation is living with our older generation, and we have a lot of mixed families here just because of the demographics of where we live. So we, Outer Cape Health and the health agents, appreciated the fact that, while we don't have cases now, we don't know what the future holds, and we want to be prepared ahead of time so we're not scrambling like we had to do with the pop-up clinic, because I think we recognize that scrambling is one of the worst things we can do. It's highly stressful and it's inefficient, and it's not our best use of time and resources. So our goal is to advocate these needs to the state so that we can have more asymptomatic testing or pop-up clinics once a week or twice a week, or so that we're better prepared to deal with what may come, understanding that it may never come, but it's better to be prepared for this than not prepared. And right now, it would be a struggle for us to undertake any kind of testing if folks aren't meeting that criteria of actually being a close contact. So again, it's this close contact piece that's like really the tricky piece, where you need to be without your mask on for 15 minutes or more, communicating and interacting with somebody. So, I mean, in theory, most of us are wearing our masks, or we should be, hopefully we all are, all the time when we're interacting with people. So that close contact piece, we don't really meet that, but still people are nervous and they're worried. So the only way to sort of calm them down, and think about like a child in the school district, if one kid in the class gets COVID, I mean, parents are going to go bonkers, like understanding, well, your child is in a close contact, and so we can't test them. So we want to be prepared to sort of handle this and ease people's anxieties and fears. So that's our goal in sort of bringing the testing here. And some people are generally just interested and want to have the test as well. So there's a lot of benefits to it, and I'm hopeful that we will be able to pull it off. I mean, I feel strongly about it.
Great. Well, I appreciate that. It was definitely enlightening, that meeting, to hear a lot of that. Plus, even the demand of the test supplies themselves are tough to also. Great. Lisa, thank you. Good morning from Outer Cape Health for a update this morning. I think we may need to unmute.
There we go. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. I thought Hillary did a great job summarizing the issues that we've been, communicating actively about. And I'm happy to answer any questions. I don't have a lot to add to Hillary's discussion. I think that the challenges that we're facing as a federally qualified community health center, Hillary outlined them very well. And one of the things that I think is challenging is that because the Department of Public Health and the Centers for Disease Control right now are not recommending testing for asymptomatic people who have not been identified as a close contact, insurance companies are not paying for the tests. So then patients are able to go to Carewell and Dennis and pay for a test out of pocket. But of course, understandably, there's challenges to that. We at Outer Cape Health Services are continuing to follow the Massachusetts Department of Public Health guidelines and the CDC guidelines regarding testing patients who demonstrate medical necessity, that they have COVID symptoms or are identified as close contacts. So it's a challenge, and I agree with Hillary that we really have to rely, I think at this point, on the state and the federal government to provide resources to allow for that to happen. And they're just right now currently not that available. The testing supplies remain scarce, and the turnaround time, the more people we test, then we risk pushing turnaround time for testing, out into the, 7 to 10 days again. So it's a complicated story, and I think continuing to evolve.
Great, thanks, Lisa. And just again, for the public who may be listening or watching, what days and times is Outer Cape doing testing?
Right now in Wellfleet, we're doing testing on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays in the mornings from 10 to 11. And we do require that people have a telemedicine visit with one of our providers in order to order that test and document the medical necessity of that test. So there is and that sets up that chain of custody of the patient care and the results of the tests, so that there is the ability to follow up with the patient should there be a positive result, or if they are showing symptoms, that they have access to the care that they might need. That we're doing testing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Provincetown Health Center is doing testing Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, following that same requirement for the telemedicine visit ahead of time.
Great, thanks, Lisa. Turn it over to Courtney for any questions.
Helen?
Yeah, to either Lisa or Hillary, how much does a test cost? And is there any science yet? Does anybody know how much of a viral load, to what degree do you have to be hosting the virus to have a test be positive, right? Never mind the symptoms. Does anybody know either one of those questions? Well, you'd know how much it would cost.
I know that Carewell is charging in the neighborhood of $160 for the test. And so in terms of viral load, I think that is a clinical question that I don't really have the answer to. I know on the last call that Dr. Jorgensen joined, he spoke to, I think, that's a difficult number to even quantify. And, so I don't think that there's an easy answer out there. Perhaps a, clinical professor of virology could answer it better than I could, but yeah, I don't really know the answer to that.
So thank you. I remember that question. I may have even, jump-started it. But one of our problems here, and I want to also confirm with Hillary that we still don't have any way of knowing what happens to people after they've been here for a week or 2 weeks or whatever, and they go back to their communities. And one of the things that happens here, more so perhaps than when people go back to their communities, is they get together with other people. As Mike DeBasto said quite a few meetings ago, a lot of times, and I know people that are doing this now as we speak, like a lot, they come here and they're with family that they don't already see. And then they go back to communities and may have gotten infected here and we'll never know about that. Is that true still, that we have no reporting back from people who have been here? Is that still true?
So I think it depends on the particular situation, what the person was doing, where they were. You know, a lot of factors go into whether we would know. So I don't think it's a straight yes or no answer, unfortunately. It depends on what the person was doing. But I think, you know, the more important piece to probably focus on is that our community transmission is extremely low on Cape Cod right now. So, you know, I feel like,
Thank you.
yeah.
That's all that I see, Chief.
Okay, great. Lisa, again, thank you as always for showing up and participating. I think it really is helpful and useful for us. And it's not an easy answer, and it's going to keep going on. So thank you.
Happy to join in.
All right, next on the agenda this morning, Department of Public Works, Mr. Vincent.
Good morning, Chief. I hope you can hear me. I don't have a lot of COVID-related issues, but the DPW has been trying to maintain business as usual while maintaining social distancing, which always isn't easy. But currently we have a healthy staff. In regards to facilities, we have purchased a misting machine similar to what I understand the schools are going to be using to sanitize offices. So we have that and we're using that. We've been conducting some preventative maintenance tasks, including replacing some exterior window trim at the library and assisting with software upgrades on the HVAC systems. We've completed sweeping all town roads and are continuing with mowing roadsides. And we've also assisted the elementary school with the removal of the older wooden playground structure. The transfer station has been functioning successfully all summer, and most recently the Board of Health has extended the waiver of purple bags to the end of September, at which time it'll be reassessed. We continue to support the beach and recreation departments with various tasks, including maintenance of the access ways to the beaches and signage, etc. We continue to work with various agencies on capital projects, including involvement with Mass DOT on the Main Street Route 6 project, reconstruction of Lieutenant Allen Road, and the Herring River restoration. Lastly, we continue to work with the annual town meeting task force in helping with the preparations and planning for annual town meeting scheduled for September 12th at the Little League field. And really, that's all I have for now, Chief.
Great, thanks, Mark. I appreciate it. And again,
Okay.
you know, Mark and his staff, Chris Parker in particular, trying to keep our facilities clean. You know, we have over 30 department members, full-time, part-time, that go through our building 24/7. So that machine has been fantastic to keep our place clean. So thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Next up on the agenda this morning, community services. I'll start with Suzanne, Becky, and then Jennifer.
I think Mike DeBasto had a question. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, hey there, Chief.
Morning, Mike.
Hello?
Go ahead. Yep,
Hey,
go ahead, Mike.
yeah, I was just wondering in September, and this is to Mark. In September, we extended the beach stickers out to the end of September,
Right.
and our portable toilet contract ends Labor Day, I believe. And I'm just wondering, you know, how if it's possible to reopen the bathrooms for that month at the beach. At the Oceanside beaches, and
Yep.
you know, how that would look for the DPW.
So we've been discussing this with Suzanne and Marie, and I think that we've sort of, I let them know that we could handle that for the 2-week window, 2-week plus window, and maintain that at least for the remainder of this season. We'll have to adjust some of our scheduling to cover that over 7 days, but I think it's doable, and we've sort of went with that agreement. So I think we can do it this year.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks a lot. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Great, thanks, Courtney. Is that it for DPW?
Yep.
Great. Okay, community services, Suzanne is first. Good morning, Suzanne.
Oops, good morning, everybody. Yes, I don't have a lot of COVID-related reports. Mark just let you know that the DPW has agreed to open the ocean bathrooms through the September 27th, which is wonderful. And I'm actually meeting with Maria this afternoon, and one of the topics, of course, is portable toilets, which you all know I can talk about endlessly, but I won't do that here. And at the senior center, I'd like to recognize all the effort going into the Friday meal program. Terry Frazier, the assistant COA director, is spearheading it on our side. The assistance of our police department liaisons and our Michael Turner and our telecommunicator liaison, Emily Miller, have made it possible. They not only organize, they deliver. They are the faces of the Wellfleet PD when they go out into the community. And approximately 50 people receive a meal on Fridays. We have converted it to accepting donations from individuals and from organizations so that we can continue this program. We have had generous donations from Siemens Bank, Friends of the Council on Aging, and from the Wellfleet Police Relief Association to date, and many individuals. And if anybody would like to donate, you can send a check made out to the town of Wellfleet and earmarked for the COA gift account. Mail it to Terry at 715 Old Kings Highway, and it will be put into the account, and it covers the food and the to-go boxes and all the other attendant expenses of putting these meals out. We're also very fortunate to have donations of food. Last week, we got 20 pounds of fresh scallops from Chris Merle and his folks. Everybody had seared scallops for lunch. That's pretty nice. At the beaches, we struggle to maintain social distancing. The masking is about less than I would like to see. But once they're on the beach, they're pretty reasonably spread out. And I think it'll be interesting to see, now that the beach stickers are going to be continued through September 27th, what the actual numbers are on the beaches. I think we'll have even less problem achieving social distancing at that point. And on a non-COVID note, I would like to thank and note the interdepartmental effort yesterday. Animal Control Officer Desmond Keogh, Pete Williams from the DPW, John Ryerson from the beach program, and the staff at the COA rescued a juvenile osprey that had gotten blown off course during the windstorm 2 days ago and was exhausted and dehydrated and chose to land right outside the COA. He is now safely at WildCare, and WildCare's estimate that his only problem was that he was dehydrated. So I'm sure he will be healthy and able to be released back into the osprey population. And that's about it for today. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Suzanne. Appreciate it. Becky, good morning.
Helen had a question, sorry.
Helen.
Sorry, so many questions, but I hope they contribute to the general knowledge pool. Suzanne, so
Yes, Helen.
getting the bathrooms at the beaches, some of the beaches, ready to be open in September means no porta potties there, right?
It means no porta potties at those beaches that have existing bathrooms. Fortunately, the DPW had the water tested early in the season. And so it's a question of opening the bathrooms up. Staff has been using them all summer, so it should not be a difficult transition at all.
Okay, so that means that that contract, which is for everything for porta potties, would we'd be paying less if we had to extend it a few weeks, right? It would be
It would be a per portable per diem cost, which is in the contract.
Right.
I think it's $89, but I don't have the contract in front of me.
Okay, I wasn't asking for an amount. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Great. Is that good, Courtney? Questions for?
Yep, that's it.
Great. Good morning, Becky.
Good morning, Chief.
Good morning. How you doing?
Can you hear me okay? I do have some updates from the Recreation Department.
Great. Yep. Go ahead.
Okay, so the summer recreation activity sessions are winding up this week. It is quite evident from the programming that we were able to provide the enthusiasm that our staff brought every day and the smiles on both campers and their parents' faces that the program was a success. In total, we had 93 children participating in the small group activity sessions offered. I'd like to just thank Hillary for guiding us and helping us through this process as the guidelines were modified and changed. And of course, the DPW for their constant support during this time and in allowing us to offer some live programming for the community. I think it was really appreciated. We did the 46th annual July road race was virtual this year. We had 91 participants submitting their times from their own individual 5-mile runs and posting pictures wearing the 2020 version of our famous Wellfleet Road Race shirt. So we kept that going, that tradition, 46 years of the road race. The department hosted 12 virtual concerts, which were streamed live on the Wellfleet Recreation Facebook and Instagram pages. It was wonderful to be able to support the talented local musicians and provide their music to a grateful audience. The concerts received between 300 and 700 views each. The final 3 shows are this week. So if you would like to tune in, you can check the town website and the Wellfleet Rec Facebook page for the schedules. We also went virtual with the square dance on Wednesday nights, and the caller, Amy Lamarand, and her husband Ty have been calling it from their living room with their children. And it's gotten over, the August 5th dance got over 1,000 views. So people are square dancing in their backyards and living rooms, and that tradition is also able to continue, which we're very happy about. So right now, extensive planning by the department for the fall season is in progress. We'd like to utilize the exceptional outdoor recreational facility at Bakersfield as long as possible to provide expanded programming and we would like to continue to monitor the playground and skateboard park beyond Labor Day, if possible. We're currently coordinating with surrounding rec departments to modify the traditional fall soccer season and decide whether we will be able to offer a season within the current state safety protocols, and also exploring other activities, possibly doing baseball in the fall and soccer in the spring, since baseball is considered a safer sport. So we'll keep you posted on that as the guidelines are modified, but we are definitely going to offer something and hopefully be able to have some kind of inter-town season. We're also planning after-school activities within the state safety protocols: tennis, pickleball, soccer, basketball, drills and skills, arts and crafts, yoga, capoeira, among others, and also planning on continuation of the virtual programming. So if anyone has ideas for activities that you would like to see, please give us a call or shoot us an email, and like us on Facebook and our YouTube account. You can get recordings of all the shows and classes that we've offered throughout the spring and summer. So it's the Wellfleet Rec is for the Facebook page, and it would be Wellfleet Recreation on YouTube. So that's all I have for now, Chief. If anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them as well.
Justina?
I don't have a question. I have a thank you for sharing the image of the caller, square dance caller, calling from the living room with their kids, and 1,000 people tuning in to our Wellfleet tradition of the square dance. A triumph of spirit in adversity. And thank you, Becky, for that inspirational image.
You're welcome. We're continually inspired by it ourselves, and happy to see the spirit continue, even with us not being able to be on the pier. So it's nice.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay.
Great, thank you. And Jennifer is the up next final for community services for the library.
Hi there.
Good morning.
Morning. So things are going well at the library. We are very, very busy with our curbside service. In July alone, we had 4,200 items that we circulated. And doing it curbside means that each item that we get, we have a staff member that calls the patron and arranges for a time for pickup. And it's takes a lot of work, but we really enjoy it, and we really enjoy talking to all of you and setting that up, and working towards a goal of letting you have some kind of library experience. And we know that it's not in the library, and we lament that along with you. We know that one of the things that people really love about the library is coming in to read the papers every morning. We do want to point out that on our homepage, we have a subscription to the New York Times, which is the consumer version of the New York Times, as well as the Cape Cod Times. So please go to our homepage if you're interested in that. We want to bring that to you. We also know that the browsing experience is very important in the library. Some people don't know what books they want, so they're taking advantage of our skill in that area, and they're letting us know what kinds of books and materials interest them. And with our expertise, we're able to find books that match the ones that they're interested in. And I recommend that you take advantage of that as well if you are interested. We are getting a lot of new requests for library cards. So there are people out there who are now library users who weren't before, and that is a very exciting silver lining of this. We just did our first little publishing project. The library put a call out for submissions, and we have a quarantine. If you go on our website, there is a link for it, and it's a poetry and prose journal. Naomi Chekai Robbins, our assistant director, did the layout. I can't claim any responsibility for the fabulous layout, but you'll be able to see it. It's amazing. And people from the community and beyond submitted fabulous pieces, all of which were written during this time period and inspired by what people are thinking and feeling during this time. And we thought that was a really good fit for the library to put something like that out. Finally, something that the trustee, well, that I've been thinking about, and then the trustees brought up at our last meeting, is the census, which Barnstable County has the lowest reporting rate of any county in the state, and people are just not filling it out. That means a loss of a lot of money for everything. And we really need to encourage people to fill it out. I'm going to try to figure out some programming with my region of libraries. But there is a link on our site to fill it out. I know there's a link on the town's website to fill it out. And if people feel weird about filling it out online, at that link, there's also a phone number once you click on the link. So people can call and have their census done that way. If they have trouble getting online, we have hotspots at the library that they can borrow. A hotspot is a little Bluetooth Wi-Fi, portable Wi-Fi device. So please borrow one of those. And again, we are going to try to figure out some way of getting out more information about the census to the area, because that's incredibly important. And as a final note, we are going to try to figure out a way to work with the schools and support them in what they might need during what will be a very trying time, as well as the parents who may be planning on homeschooling their kids this year who are doing that for the first time. So that's my report. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Great, thanks, Jennifer. I appreciate it. That wraps up community services. We will move on to Shellfish. Nancy, I see you on the call. Morning.
Sorry, I just was unmuting the microphone. Good morning, everybody. It's been a while.
Oh, I think we muted you again.
How's that?
Yep.
It's been a while since I've been on a Zoom call, thankfully. So we've been really busy at the Shellfish Department, obviously. And so before I get into some COVID updates, I really want to thank the DPW and the Beach Department and Jeannie Mack in Town Hall, because without their help, we can't do our job in the summertime. The DPW and Mike Sicali over at the transfer station were instrumental in June, helping us get all of our culch out, our sea clam culch, and in July doing the quahog relay from Sagamore. And then the Beach Department and Jeannie Mack, I mean, you can imagine how many phone calls we get and how much assistance is needing when we moved from doing them and doing shellfishing permits, recreational shellfishing permits in person to online only. So it's been a trying time, and everybody has really worked with us in partnership in a way that we're extremely grateful for. So I just want to say thank you to all those departments and individuals who make our department successful. Talking about COVID, we have sold about 114 fewer permits this year, but it's only coming out to about a $2,000 loss in revenue so far. We sold 158 seasonal passes this year and only 12 this year, those that were sold before we decided not to do the seasonal permits. So we've taken in about $82,500 so far this year, and last year we were close to $87,000. So we will be a little bit short, but it's really at this point only a difference. I just don't think it's going to be that big of a difference, especially because people do tend to buy them in the fall for Chipman's Cove opening and for the holidays, for Thanksgiving in particular. So I don't think we're going to be down too much, but we could be down a little bit, and we should just keep that in mind. We have a revolving fund where this money goes. 75% of all shellfish permit sales and aquaculture license fees that are collected by the town go into a revolving fund for propagation. So one of the things that has come to our attention over the past month or so is that Barnstable County applied for and received a national sea grant to help the shellfishing industry during the time of COVID. We as a town saw like a 300% increase in usage of recreational shellfishing permits in April and May. June was up slightly. July was down about 20% and August looks to be down a little bit too. And we will chalk that up to the not having the seasonal permits. But there was incredible usage of permits in the spring, which means that the effect on our resource out there is greater. So we are constantly thinking about ways to introduce more shellfish there. So we have the contaminated relay that we do with quahogs. We've been digging quahogs on the town propagation bed and putting them over in the recreational area. We had a wonderful donation of oysters from a grant holder. And we have some seed oysters, but they're not going to be harvestable. They'll finish off on the bottom over there and grow. So the fact that the county has this funding opportunity, they've let us, the towns, know that it would be a matching opportunity. So I'm trying to be creative about the revolving fund and how we might be able to put some of those dollars to work to increase or enhance our recreational fishery on Indian Neck. At the same time, oyster sales are significantly lower from the best of our ability to discern. We're not involved in everybody's business, but we can tell that there's less wild fishing this year than there's ever been. And even movement of oysters from Grant seems to be significantly lower. We don't see the same amount of regular trucks on the pier. A lot of people are driving their product to market just to have a market. So when we think of that, we think that there's going to be a surplus of oysters in the fall, which is always a time when oyster prices fall anyway or decrease anyway. So this would be another reason why participating in this grant could be a good idea, because we might be able to buy some of that surplus from farmers, and then it would help us enhance our recreational fishery. So I'm working on how to make that happen. Just looking forward to the fall, which is typically continues to be a busy time on the flats.
Great, thanks, Nancy. Courtney, any questions for shellfish?
Not so far.
Okay, great. Thanks, Nancy, for that update.
Thank you.
And next up on the agenda, Chief Pauly, the Fire Department.
Good morning again, everyone. I'll be brief. As I've reported over the past couple of months, we have been down 4 full-time positions. We're starting to see some light at the end of that tunnel. 2 weeks ago, firefighter paramedic Colleen Phelan and firefighter EMT Brian Mozleski were hired. They've just about completed their 2-week orientation, and they both do have some fire service background each from other fire departments. So that's helpful. I anticipate on this Thursday, firefighter EMT Jeff Hall will be starting with us. He is from out of town, but he's a Cape resident. And I would hope by the end of this month, we'll fill that 4th position. We're just waiting on some medical issues and the clearance. Really been very busy helping and working with the other town departments with respect to town meeting preparation. In this town meeting that will be held in September up at the ball field at the elementary school. We have also continued to support the lifeguard staff throughout the summer. And just one other note, we've had a significant increase in water rescues this year. And I'm not sure why, but it's been both on the bay side and on the ocean side. Each one has been successful, but it has taken significant time and resources. So we're asking people to be a little bit mindful if they're going to come here and enjoy our beautiful area. Certainly our residents also, please be careful out in the ocean and in the ponds for that matter. And that's all I have, Chief.
Great, thanks, Chief. Any questions for the fire department?
Yep, we have Justina.
Very quickly, Chief Pauly, thanks for all the leadership you show our town.
Thank you, Justina.
Okay, and Helen?
Yes, this is a question for our next meeting. I would like to ask all the department heads to weigh in on this question. Prior to this pandemic, the select board would get a report from department heads pretty much once a month. And I always found those very useful. This is, to my mind, serving the same purpose. Here's my question for every one of you. Is this easier for you than writing out a report and submitting it to the select board. I know it's more efficient for the community because not everybody goes to the public records law and then accesses those reports, which the select board gets, but not during a meeting, we just get them. So that's the question. It would be great if all of you could weigh in on that, however briefly. Easier, not easier? Could we keep doing this in the future after the pandemic goes? Thank you.
Great, thanks, Helen. Hillary, do you have a question?
I was just going to weigh in. I actually think I prefer this method to the report. It feels more useful. It gives us an opportunity to engage with the Board of Selectmen as well, instead of just submitting a piece of paper, because I frequently wondered, like, how useful is this piece of paper where I just give you a brief blurb about what's going on? So I actually prefer this method. Although I do use the paper monthly reports to tally up things for the annual report, which would change the way that we look at that, or my department looks at that. But I prefer this method.
Thanks, Hillary. I appreciate it. And the same here. I think that, excuse me, since March, this has become a useful tool with the community, with the board, and even among department heads. I think that we've all come together as a group very closely instead of working in our own silos, as you say. We've been working together. So it's definitely something we can look into and have an answer, if not before the next meeting, prior to that. The next up on the agenda, just a quick police department update. As Chief Pauly stated, we are finally up to full staffing on the full-time side. We had Michael Allen, who graduated from the Plymouth Academy back in June, and Matthew McHugh, who graduated from the Cape Academy in July. Michael has finished up field training and is deployed in the field, and Matthew should be finishing up his field training come this fall. It was quite a challenge because, as you can imagine, the academy shut down for 6 weeks during the surge this past spring. So to be able to get anybody out of an academy, we were very thankful. On the part-time side, we are still short, and between police reform and just lack of applications, we're going to really have to have a serious look at our reserve summer program, because it keeps getting smaller, and with the police reform, it may actually go away. So something we're keeping an eye on. I know Chief Facette has spoken with the board about this over the years, that we could be heading in that direction, which to lose 6 to 8 additional people would be tough for the department. So it's good to be fully staffed back there. Everybody is safe. Since COVID began in March, we've had 1 department member tested. Back in the spring was negative. We continue to utilize all the safety protocols. However, in my 26 years, this has been the strangest summer. It has been a tough summer, but we're getting through it. The staff has done amazing. And again, beach, fire, DPW, health. It's been an amazing relationship. I think we all speak to each other more than we speak to our spouses and family at home. So I just want to throw that out there, that I think the town should be proud of all the departments, and administration and the board has been extremely supportive, which has helped along this journey. And it's going to be a journey as we continue. So that's it on the police side. We're still out there. We're still working to the end, to Labor Day. The finish line is near. Although I do anticipate a busy fall. I think that we will see more than usual the fall be busy for us. So we will keep an eye on that. Any questions for the police?
I believe Janet had a question. I'm not sure who it was for.
So I don't have a question, but I do want to thank every department head for doing a great job, and not just the department heads, but the departments. I think back to May, end of April, May, where we were all in a quandary and had no idea what to expect. And here we are, end of August, And I know I'm breathing easier because I feel everyone's doing such a good job. And I agree with Helen. I was going to say something. I think this is a great format. I think everyone's enjoying it. So maybe all the department heads and employees can think about how often or a time that everybody would like to have this kind of a Zoom meeting. And maybe we could alternate because it does take an hour or so. Maybe we could alternate departments that are on one week and then another month or something. So please consider that. And thank you.
Great, thanks, Janet.
Justina?
Yes, in addition to the incredible job our town employees have done, I think this call as a select board member showed me what an incredible town staff we have. And I think the Zoom calls did help me see how hard everyone was working and the caliber of people we have working. And so meetings can be a time suck, but if there were a way to make a regular meeting valuable to the town staff, I think it might be a good thing to institutionalize, because an hour can be annoying if you have a desk full of emergencies, but it really helps get out the word how hard and dedicated the town is, and how hard you guys manage the town through thick and thin, through TAs come and go, and you guys are where the rubber hits the road, COVID or not COVID. So I hope we can find a way to continue some version of this. That's all I have.
Great, thank you.
And
Next, oops,
oh,
sorry.
Helen has one thing.
Yeah, quick. So when I brought it up, I was thinking that even if we went back to normally having meetings in person, the efficiency of having a virtual meeting for this kind of thing, we can do in an hour if I don't ask so many questions, is that it takes less time for staff to do this than for us all to commute to one place. And I have a feeling that when these exigencies go past, if they ever do, which I hope they do, and we're meeting normally physically, like the select board is having meetings and all the regulatory boards, that we could also have this, given that it's posted as virtual, that it would be part of our repertoire of having meetings in certain situations where public participation can happen after the meeting. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Helen. And I'll just throw out there that back in March, when COVID had all of us upside down, including department heads and departments, that when myself and Chief Pauly put this out, it was kind of a spur of the moment to put this Tuesday morning group together, and every single department head jumped right on board. And I think early on, with so much information and misinformation and confusion and anxiety, that it really was a great tool that I think moving forward, it's successful. You see the face, you can ask the question. So I just want to throw that out there, that everybody, when asked, jumped right into it right from the start. So next up is town administration, and just want to welcome Maria, if she is on the call, who started the beginning of August. This is her first emergency management meeting. Courtney, I'm not sure if she's on the call.
I believe she is, but she told me she didn't have any updates.
Okay.
The only one that I'll say is just a reminder that town meeting is Saturday, September 12th at 10 a.m. at the ball field, and there will be a ton of information coming out on the town Facebook page, YouTube, and the town website with regard to what to expect at town meeting, and also information about warrant articles. The town election is on Tuesday, September 8th from noon to 7. And if you have any questions about mail-in voting, please contact the town clerk. Her number is 508-349-0301. And as for the town election as well, we will be hosting a pre-town election forum on Monday, August 31st, and that information will be forthcoming as well.
Great, thanks, Courtney. And obviously, I'd be remiss to say that, that Courtney has been our engine. She's been behind the scenes, keeping these meetings scheduled, going, hosting questions. So again, a big thank you to Courtney for that, with the time commitment on this.
Thank you.
Mike Trovato, Mike, do you have any comments, questions?
Yes, thanks, Chief. Yeah, I just wanted to add to what Courtney was saying, that the town clerk's office will be open for in-person early voting the week of August 24th, next week, for the state primary. Plan is to direct people to the front doors for entrance and exit only, and that the back door will be available for handicap accessibility only. Also a reminder that the mailbox is available at the back town hall entrance for mail-in ballots for people who choose that option. So just wanted to add that to the mix.
Great, thanks. I see Dan Silverman's on the moderator. Just a quick update, Dan, for the town meeting.
Yes, two things very briefly. First, thank you to all of the town staff, which has helped put together the plan for town meeting. The cooperation has really been tremendous. As Courtney said, there's a lot of information. For those of you who haven't seen it already, they're already posted on the website. Is a 4-page document basically outlining how town meeting is going to work procedurally. And the other thing, while I have kind of a captive audience, is just a number of questions have come in with regard to Governor Baker's order for no gatherings more than 50. Just want to assure everyone that that does not apply to municipal governing bodies. So town meeting is exempt for that. So should you get any questions about that, town meeting can go ahead, even though it is a gathering of more than 50. We still have more work to do. More information will be coming out as we get closer. Courtney being kind of at the center of all of our efforts to get that information out. So again, thank you to all of you who helped put this plan together, and I'm looking forward to a successful town meeting. Thank you, Chief.
Great, thanks, Dan. I'll go around the Hollywood Squares real quick here with the select board. Janet is up first. Any questions, comments, or nope? Good. Justina? Good. Ryan? Good. Helen?
Do it outside of meetings. Thank you.
We didn't catch the beginning, Helen.
Big thanks to everybody. I
Okay.
usually do it outside of meetings. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And Mr. Chair, Michael?
I don't have anything, Chief. Thanks.
Okay, great. Courtney, any final questions from the public that are on the line or anything come in?
I'm not seeing any.
Okay, great. Again, thank you, everyone. Right now, Tuesday,
Oh.
September 15th at 10 a.m. would be our next scheduled call, the third Tuesday of the month, unless the select board or any of us believe a call is deemed sooner. So everybody stay safe, and thank you again.
Thank you.